What up, people? It's your boy Chib from Unit Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is a belated version of Eagle Eye, the transfer rumour show where I talk to you about rumours and news surrounding the Arsenal. Lone Star, I don't know who Trig is, but Chig is right here. I hope you guys are well. This is the second show I've done in the last 2-3 hours. Can't tell me I don't give you guys content. That's for damn sure. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I dropped a preview of Man City versus Arsenal earlier today. I will link that to this video, so it should be on the end screen of the video. I always forget to the end screen sometimes. So I'll make sure I do that and link it to this video. Do check that out. And yeah, let's get cracking and moving on with the story. Now, I'll be honest with you, as you could probably imagine, lots of the stories today were more focused on Arsenal's restart and generally the season restarting tomorrow. So in terms of news, there's not an abundance of it. But I'll talk about one or two stories here and there. Before we get into it, someone rightly asked me earlier, did I have any opinion on Marcus Rashford? Marcus Rashford did a wonderful thing. A couple of days ago, he basically put out an appeal saying that, when he was growing up as a child of a single parent, one of the things that helped him was the fact that he was able to have food vouchers. I guess to you Americans, it would be food stamps. And he says that, it was something that wasn't particularly on the conservative agenda. We have two parties here in the UK. Things like that tend to be more of a Labour type of incentive as opposed to a conservative one, to be honest. And obviously, we're in a situation at the moment where we're about to commence a very deep recession. And typically, when that happens, those sort of services tend to be the ones that are cut the first. And it wasn't set to be on Boris Johnson's agenda, really. It wasn't even on his radar. But I'll tell you what, for a 22-year-old, fair play to Marcus Rashford, really thinking beyond, football here. Like, can't we just do something for parents that are going to be struggling? They struggle normally, but especially during this time where they won't have access to vouchers, where they won't be able to, lots of kids are schooling from home and they won't be able to have the same sort of access to free school meals that they would have while they're at school. And was there anything that the government could do to essentially support those people? And considering it wasn't on the government's agenda before, it just shows you the power of celebrity, because it was literally 24 hours later, Boris was like, yeah, I don't really see why we're not doing this. And actually, we're going to go above and beyond and really support, single parents with low income, and provide them the stamps and the food and the support that they require. And I just thought it was a wonderful result. Typically, there was only one person I saw poo-poo on it, and I'm not going to even mention her name. I think if you're from the UK, I'm sure you can guess who that is. She is bitter than bitter. I don't even want to give that person a platform to be able to even mention her name. Just a disgusting attitude. She's just a disgusting person. But anyway, I just thought it was just a wonderful, especially during a year which is full of so much doom and gloom and blow. For me, it was a wonderful thing to see, and fair play to Marcus Rashford for it. That's some real foresight there. So I congratulate him for that, and I hope those parents and those low-income families reap the benefit of Marcus Rashford. So yeah, that's how you use your celebrity for good, guys. That type of thing. Anyway, let's move forward. Let's talk about Mr. Mustafi. Squadron Mustafi, aka call him what you want. 28 years old, Arsenal defender, with a year left on his contract, and yeah, it seems like it's flown by. That 4 years ago we signed Squadron Mustafi in a stunning deal worth £35 million. Even 4 years later, it still makes my eyes roll. £35 million. Whew, that's a lot of money, even now. And he has never, for me, never lived up to it. Especially if you are a first-time subscriber of mine, rest assured, I was the very first person on the squad on the Mustafi out boat. If you are a hardcore rider of Green and Eagle Eye, you will know this. While people were gushing over, oh, we were undefeated and with Mustafi and Koscielny at the heart of our defense, your boy Chig was like, "This guy is terrible. Like, why is no one else seeing it?" I think for me, the person that Archie, stop reminding me of Casitas too. The game that I was really like, oh no, was PSG away. I will never forget that game. PSG away, somehow we came out drawing that game 1-1. But let me tell you something. That game alone made me doubt that Cavani is that good. Because the amount of chances he missed one-on-one, Ospina saved our asses a couple of times during that game. And secondly, bear in mind, Cavani is a lot of things. Fast, I wouldn't necessarily say is one of them. He had Mustafi on butter, toast, and a bit of jam because he was nowhere to be found. Every single time that Cavani was advancing, Mustafi was that step behind, 2, 3 steps behind. And in my mind, I was like, this is the guy that everyone says is good. What am I not seeing? Because I see a calamity. I'm seeing a disaster waiting to happen. And I remember just all of a sudden, people started to realize and started to see what I had been saying for the entire time, that this guy is not good. Like, he is not good. And then it occurred to me, hold on, we spent 35 million on a defender that cost Gary Neville his job. But remember when Valencia gets slapped during that time that Gary Neville was there? Wasn't Mustafi part of that team? Why did we go and spend 35 million on this guy? And then we later on found out over the next couple of years that actually we bought Mustafi not because anyone had actually scouted Mustafi. So we bought Mustafi off the back of a stats program thing that we had in place. That actually him and Lucas Perez, were bought off the back of that. That apparently people who were in the know, who watched Arsenal go and buy Lucas Perez, were like, why have Arsenal bought a mid-table? That was the quote. Why have Arsenal bought a mid-table striker? I must admit, I always thought Lucas Perez did okay for us, and I still maintain it. I thought he did okay. I also don't think Wenger trusted him very much. But then we obviously realised the standard he was, because he then left to West Ham, did nothing. I think he's now gone back to Deportivo, or I'm fairly certain he plays in Spain right now, and is not doing much. So it was proved to be the wrong decision. And we spent money on that summer and did nothing with it. Did absolutely nothing with it. Which I suppose goes to explain why the following year Arsenal only bought a goalkeeper. They were probably gun shy, because we then learned that actually Arsenal had not only had they bought Mustafi, but that every summer since they've been trying to sell him, and no one has been interested. And that's proven to the fact that today, 4 years later, we are still got this Mustafi problem. Well, very interestingly, Mustafi was spoken to today. Obviously, Arsenal will have limited funds unless we sell. And it seems like every time someone has been spoken about leaving, Arteta wants to keep it. I'll come back to that point shortly. But Mustafi actually spoke out on his future today and actually hinted at our Arsenal exit. Not only did he hint at our Arsenal exit, but actually hinted at a Bundesliga return. I'm like, oh yeah. This is him. He says something along the lines of, in the current situation, it is difficult to predict how the transfer phase will go. Mustafi told Sports Bild when quizzed about his future. The Bundesliga is always interesting for me. In terms of sport, it has achieved a great development and it is also my home. Okay, yeah, so he continues. Many are amazed at the level there. In England, they were very surprised at how well the Bundesliga managed the restart. The Premier League has taken this as an example. Okay, so he just goes on to talk about how the Bundesliga are essentially advanced and how they are able to, Bundesliga are essentially advanced and how they were the first to take on this coronavirus restart, and they've done it successfully. And the Premier League have actually been the ones looking at the Bundesliga, and that's why he's attracted to the Bundesliga. Mate, if you can find a team willing to take your ass, Clark, I fully support it. And in fact, specifically, I would love it if Bayer Leverkusen could take you on. You know why? Maybe it might knock off some money for Kai Havertz. Because supposedly they have said that, listen, if someone can pay that money, they will happily step aside. Now, we know Arsenal don't have that sort of dough, but it was as I was ranting the other day, right? If Stan just decided, all right, cool, here's a little bit of dough to make sure that you get this deal specifically over that line. Just the way Chelsea have done with Timo Werner. What if Arsenal just did that? Just say, right, go. Let's just go. Let's do it. Let's do it. And you put Mustafi as part of that deal? Shit. Because the one thing I'll say for him, he's 28 years old. He's just turned 28 years old. I would be shocked if we can't get 15 million for him. I know he's a calamity. I know he's a disaster. But actually, I think if you pitch it right, now up until now, he's always been linked with a move to Italy. But judging by his words here, I think he'd rather go back to Germany. No problem. I say let's just get it done. Gift wrap it, let it done, market it right, go and speak to Leverkusen, see how much you'd knock off the Kai Havertz deal, and then go for it. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. I would rather he turns us down and goes to Chelsea. That's what Kai Havertz is going to do than us not trying. You know? I say Kai Havertz because I suppose this brings me to my next story, and that's Okan Kroku. We've been linked with him all summer, all of January. He's a player that I suggested is clearly a very good player. Supposedly, he's the best player in Holland. Lots of people think he's going to go very, very far. Lots of people feel that he's got the attributes if he wants to take over from Mesut Ozil or to be the next big deal. And I've always said to you guys, for me, actually, what's more telling than that, sometimes you can tell the caliber of a player by the teams that are linked with him. I always say that to you guys, right? Well, most recently, Barcelona stepped into the mix, and they said that they were interested in him. Well, interesting enough, and I saw this story yesterday, he's kind of actually pretty keen on staying at Feyenoord, and that's in spite of Barcelona's interest and Arsenal's interest. He feels that he says that this situation has always been set up from day one for him to be sold against his wishes. That if it was up to him, he'd stay at Feyenoord. He's still keen to stay at Feyenoord, purely because he feels he's still got some development to do. Which I must admit, when I read that, I liked his attitude. I liked his attitude because sometimes you could say to yourself, "Well, what? Barcelona are interested in me? Look, let me get going." But he clearly has this attitude of, "Listen, I ain't ready yet. Like, I'm still developing my game. Maybe in a year or two, maybe." But actually, he wants a new contract at Feyenoord. So that kind of made me think, oh, okay. So I'm not sure that this deal is actually going to go through in the end. Which begs the question, is Arsenal going to be looking towards an attacking midfielder? And I suppose that then brings me to my next story. I'm segueing like a motherfucker right now. Guys, please put a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Much love, guys. I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow with Lee after the game just to do our usual review and player ratings. Make sure you don't miss that. Hit that notification bell for it as we continue along this road. But that brings me to my next story, and that is Dani Ceballos. So after earlier this summer, it was only maybe 3-4 weeks ago that Arsenal declared that they're not interested in signing Dani Ceballos. And I kind of figured, you know what, I probably wouldn't for the money that Real Madrid are looking for. Well, I'm starting to see stories now that actually Arsenal would be very interested in talking to Real Madrid for a second loan deal. For me, I feel like it all depends on what you feel, if you feel is worth it. I know a lot of fans at the moment are not overly convinced by Dani Ceballos. We've not seen enough of him in the right situations. I personally still think he's a good player. I still think technically there is a player there. But I guess the other question I'd have is, what are we looking for here? If we're looking for a number 8 who can play deep and provide and start moves nice and early, then I think Dani Ceballos is your guy. From what I've seen, and this is going to sound really weird because I put him in my number 10 for City, but actually I don't necessarily think he's suited as a number 10. I don't think it suits him naturally. The reason I put him as my number 10 against City, though, was I felt that we needed a third midfielder who wasn't going to be a Mesut Ozil, and that's actually going to help out the two midfielders. So Dani Ceballos naturally likes dropping deep, he likes covering, putting the occasional foot in. I think he's better at that than most people give him credit for. So that's why I decided to put him as my number 10. But for me, if we were going to sign him on loan, I don't necessarily think that would be that bad of an idea. Might be a clever move until we have more money. And we've got to make sure that at very least, I don't think we're getting no Champions League football, but our aim surely has to be getting Europa League football. So I think from that perspective and that point of view, maybe that this is the eventual move and aim, that once the season concludes, we'll have a better idea of our budget and therefore we'll be able to move for the likes of Dani Ceballos, even if it is by loan. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Speaking of midfielders, there's no real new news on Thomas Partey. I think everybody's just talking about the fact that there's a big rumour that Arsenal are prepared to offer him £195,000 a week, which is 3 times more than his current salary. And supposedly, it's got him really thinking. Now, excuse me, guys, bear with me. I just realised my laptop battery is running low. 2 secs. Still here. We're still here. So, so apparently, what they're trying to do at the moment is to see if Partey will be interested. Atletico Madrid are still negotiating with Thomas Partey in terms of a new deal. I'm starting to have a bad feeling that Partey is going to stay at Atletico. Got to admit, I'm starting to have that feeling. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. And finally, I'm going to leave this as a final kind of story to talk about, and that is Mr. David Luiz. David Luiz, as we know, we found out this summer, which was a shock to everybody, that actually Arsenal only signed David Luiz for a year deal with the option of an extra year. I think everybody assumed he signed for a 2-year deal. I say we assumed, I'm pretty sure we were told it was a 2-year deal. So it was a shock to everybody when all of a sudden he was talking up this Benfica move. I thought, all right, well, go where you want after your contract, but I'm guessing Arteta's going to want to keep you. I personally would get rid of you. Well, it seems as though actually he was signed to a year contract. And ever since then, Arteta's been begging him to stay. No more recently than today. Today, Arteta once again reiterated his desire to keep the Brazilian defender, David Luiz, at the club. He feels that his experience, his know-how, and the way he is in the dressing room would be a benefit to the Arsenal side. I'm not necessarily against the idea of experience in the dressing room. I do think it is more valuable than people think, particularly if you're trying to build a young side. To have some old heads in the dressing room giving advice is a valuable thing. My whole issue is that, to me, you want the right people doing that. And clearly, David Luiz is a very liked individual. My question is, what type of advice is he giving them youngsters? What type of advice is he giving people like Mauri and that? You know, I want people who know how to defend, who are expert at defending, teaching those youngsters how to do it. Not a David freaking Luiz, who most of the time loses his concentration and fucks up. So, to me, I'm kind of on the fence of, I had already mentally prepared for Luiz to stay prior to this pandemic. So it wasn't a particularly, it doesn't really make that much of a difference for me if he stays. I kind of prepared for him to stay anyway. But I just feel like it's a shame that we're resorting to all these players that we should be getting rid of. Your Granit Xhakas, your Mustafis, although it looks like we're finally looking to get rid of Mustafis. Your Hector Bellerins. Those are the people that we're looking to try and keep. And yet the people that perhaps we could afford to have a look at again, like your Ainsley Maitland-Nileses. You could even make an argument for Rob Holding. I'd sell Rob Holding, personally, but you could make an argument for Rob Holding. Just make you worry. What sort of side are you looking to build? Like, I'm hearing that flipping Mesut Ozil is set to start tomorrow, and I'm just like, oh, why? What's he going to do different that he never does in these games? What's he going to do? So for me, this further enhances my concern about Mikel Arteta as a manager and the experience that he has, because he's starting to make constantly decisions that I'm not particularly comfortable with or happy with. Am I prepared to let it go? What choice do I have? I'm a fan. I have influence like that. I just have to sit here and watch what happens and watch it play out. But this idea that we have to beg David Luiz to stay, if that's what it's come to, then shit, we have some serious problems. We have serious problems in that Arsenal side. But it is what it is. Let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. All right, let me come into the chat room, guys. Please do drill this like button. Drill it for me. I would appreciate if you guys did that. Let's do 10 minutes, shall we? I'll tell you what. Let's do 13 minutes. So 10 to 10 would be great. 10 to 10. I'm going to answer this geezer who's obviously looking for an answer, and that is Gerard Durdley. I have no idea who Adam Brown is. No idea. I didn't even know they had beef. To be fair, I might have to ask Lee about that later. Georgie, yes, everyone is so confident that they're going to do this, but it never happens. I'll tell you what, Wolves A with TV. Are you confident in Wolves? That's a question I'd love to know. Are you confident that you'll be able to make it? Buster Cherry, my most recent member. Thank you very much for signing up to the membership. Like Buster, you can sign up to the membership if you hit join. Lots of stuff is going to hit that membership in the next couple of days, so keep a lookout for that. Arteta has experience of making coffee. Buster, bus. Buster, bus. Luiz and Guendouzi are both shit. I would never let them in my team sheet. Yeah, yeah. I must admit, I was quite high on Guendouzi before. Actually, I thought, and I still think he was one of Emre's better performers. But I just feel like I've heard some worrying stats about Guendouzi, and I'm not overly into stats, but there are some stats that you just think to yourself, "Ooh, gosh, really? Are you that bad?" Now, I disagree with Jahid here. I don't think Dominic Szoboszlai is overrated. I think that youngster is very, very good. The store skills and the temperament that he displays for someone of his age is very, very impressive. I like him a lot. And he's a player that I would love us to go and get. And I don't think he costs a crazy amount of money, 20 million euros. I'll secure that. And for me, he's levels above Guendouzi, levels above. Anyway, it's what it is. Mr. Hernandez, my favorite Mexican American. Big up to yourself. Another member as well. My man promised me he was going to sign up for the membership, and then a couple of days later did. So thank you, Sergio. Flipping heck, I've got moths flying everywhere. Pissing me off. I'm going to go on a mad spray in a minute. Evening, my guy. Party won't come to us because Atletico can do something we can't, and that's win the Europa League. 100%. 100%. 100%. I want my thank you for your donation, brother. As always, I appreciate it, my guy. Wolves are we TV busting not over here, over Nuno here. But Hats, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? I would say Wolves are in a better spot. They're in a much better position to achieve Europe than we are. 100%. I agree with you, Hats. I agree with you. Jason Jetson. I feel like I know that name, and I can't think why. Don't get me wrong, I know you've been in the chat before, but I feel like I actually know that name. Elliot, great greetings from Toronto. Great show. Mustafi and Luiz are part of what's wrong with the club. The sooner we get shot of them, the better we'll be. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But it also requires a manager. I said to you guys from the very start, the most important thing that we do this summer is sell, sell, sell. And the idea that we're selling the people that I don't think need to be sold. Like, why would you sell Eze Maitland-Niles? Oh, he's been late a couple of times for training. I get reprimanding him. I don't get selling him. That I don't get. So these are things that I'm still a little bit confused by. Sorry, these damn moths. I literally have like 3 moths flying in there. They keep flying across my face. It's pissing me off. Ainsley, crap. I'm going to celebrate. I would get Jonathan David. It's funny you should say that, Starboy. So there's more stories about the fact that Arsenal are looking to open talks with Jonathan David. I think there's a wide speculation that at least one of Aubameyang, and or Lacazette will be leaving the club. And if they both leave the club, the idea is that one striker comes in to replace. As we know, they're very keen on Justin Kluivert. It's funny to say that actually, because the Roma manager Fonseca has basically begged the Roma board to not sell Justin Kluivert. He obviously has a lot of plans for the kid, makes a lot of sense. But Roma are still proceeding because they desperately want Mkhitaryan. So it is what it is. All right, Nimsy, be well, brother. Thank you. I'd get him in a heartbeat. Yeah, I know you lot love Jonathan David, innit? I like Edouard, I must admit. I like them both, to be fair. They're goal scorers. Chick, do you think Martinelli will start more games under Arteta? I hope so. I've got a concern that he won't, though. I've got a feeling that Arteta might try and hold him back, which obviously to you and I would be like, what? Why would you hold this guy back? But I've got a feeling that's what might happen. We should keep David Luiz an extra year and play three at the back where he excels. I don't think it's in Mikel Arteta's repertoire to play three at the back. When you play three at the back, you're going for robust over elegance and fluence. And I had an argument, funny enough, with someone in my group. I'll still maintain. I think Mikel Arteta tries to lean towards ball possession. Now, the reason it was turned into an argument was because actually, when you compare the stats with Emre, the ball possession is exactly the same as it was with Emre. It was 53.4%. So, when you start to look at what Mikel Arteta's changed, you are starting to struggle a little bit. But for me, I've not written him off. I'm yet to be impressed. Like, see the way you see people on social media say, "Oh, Arteta, you watch, he's going to be doing big things for the club." I'm yet to see it. I want to see it. I hope I'm proven wrong, but I'm yet to see what people are talking about at the moment. But we'll see. It is what it is. This is not. I don't even blame Arteta. This is not an easy job, which is exactly why I would have never given it to Mikel Arteta. It is nuts, the risk that we've taken. I keep saying it. It is mad, the risk that we've taken. But the Arsenal board are the Arsenal board. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, 4 more minutes. Just to show you I've not lost track of time. I'm not ranting so much that I've lost track of time. 4 more minutes and I'm out of here, guys. Please do stick a like on this video. Once again, just to give you an idea of schedules. Tomorrow is going to be very much membership time. So I'm going to be putting a lot of stuff out there on the membership. Do feel free to join the members. The membership is literally join. Just hit join and just follow the instructions from there. If you have any issues with joining, please let me know in the comments, because if you don't tell me, I'm going to assume everything works. So if there is an issue, let me know so I can speak with YouTube to sort it out. But if you guys don't tell me, then I'll just assume it's hunky-dory and you guys are joining as normal. For the 8 people that have already joined, thank you, first of all, so much for joining. Second of all, got a little surprise stream for you guys over the next couple of days. As soon as I narrow down the day, it's probably going to be Saturday, to be fair. But as soon as I narrow down the day, I'm going to have a stream with all of you guys. So make sure you don't miss that. I'm going to have a little stream, little kind of small group stream, and we're literally just going to kick it. Me and you lot, just going to kick it for all levels. So for the silver level and for the gold level members. Just to kind of say thank you first and foremost for supporting the show. And B, just to get ideas of things that you want to see on the memberships. So that's literally just going to be for you guys. And then Combat Show will be on Friday as usual. Chig Flicks, I so much stuff is coming up on Chig Flicks. I'm very excited. Just you wait. Keep a lookout for that. Again, the link to both of those is in the description below. And what else? Tomorrow I'll be back. Make sure you don't miss my watch along with Lee. You know, yes, there's going to be other people doing watch along. Listen, no one's allowed to go to football matches. So naturally, I think people forget, and Lee won't mind me saying this, right? People forget where the watch alongs started. Yeah, okay, I get it that, you know, Robbie's done a couple in the past and True Geordie does them. But where it started to become mainstream, your boy Chig started doing watch alongs. And then slowly Lee did, and then we started hooking up doing watch alongs. And then all of a sudden, everybody's doing them. So we are the originators, and there's a reason for that. So make sure you don't miss out on us doing a watch along on Lee's channel tomorrow. We're back. We're going to do it as usual. Do the watch along on Lee's channel, do the player ratings and review on mine. So make sure you don't miss out. Again, go and subscribe to Lee if you haven't already, and go and download Hot Mic, and then follow Lee's channel on Hot Mic using his code, which I'm sure someone will kindly put in the chat room shortly. I think it's 6623, but let somebody put that in the chat room first, because I don't want to quote that wrong. But he mentions it in every single show he does. Make sure you download that for him. And then you can watch that along with us tomorrow. Very crucial. Would I have Onana over Leno? Starboy, I haven't got a clue who that is. I'm not even going to bullshit you, bro. I'm not even going to bullshit you. There you go. Man like Sergio. Lee623 is the code for Hot Mic. So make sure you guys download that and you can follow that along with us. Yeah? Iffy, yeah? You can't always coming late, bro. I ain't seen you in a minute. Well, I hope you're well. All right, I'm up out of this, 10 to 10. So I told you I was going to go on time. Thank you so much for listening to me today. Rabbit on. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. There'll be no Eagle Eye tomorrow. Me and Lee will just be doing the review and player ratings on this channel. So make sure you don't miss that out. In the meantime, I guess let's wait for this massacre. Let's wait for this massacre. I'm going to top this up. Look at my rum. I've got that ready. Duppy share. If you know, you know. Caribbean rum. If you know, you know. Right, so I've got that ready. I am braced and ready for the whooping we're about to receive tomorrow. So make sure you guys join us. I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Deuces.